Wow.
What an intro. What an intro.
Holy smokes. Thank you, producer Sean, for that awesome intro. Welcome, everybody, to episode 1 or 0. I don't know. What do we say, Shannon? This is the pilot, right?
Pilot, yes.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if we get picked up after this or we're fired. I'll get fired. You guys are good.
Beta version or something, or release candidate 1.
We'll just get on LTO tapes.
Yeah, we'll think of this as a beta, so I'm sure there'll be a lot of notes, right? But yeah, welcome to the show. We are stoked to have you here. The most exciting, 30 minutes or so of your week. Joe Rogan's got nothing on us. All right. This is the Cloud Show, and this is the #1 cast for anybody looking to learn about and leverage hot cloud storage or cloud for that matter. So we're not just limited to shilling for our company and our product. We actually have a tremendous depth of experience in and around computing services, infrastructure services, all that, as a service stuff. Before I get too far along, let me introduce myself. My name is Drew Schlussel. I will be your spiritual guide through this life-altering conversation. And we're going to talk about IT and the market and all that good stuff. But before I get too far along, let me give a quick plug. Today's show is brought to you by Wasabi, the world's hottest cloud storage. Wasabi provides simple, predictable, and affordable hot cloud storage for businesses all over the world. We enable organizations to store and instantly access an unlimited amount of data at a fraction of the price of our competition without any complex tiers or unpredictable egress fees. Don't forget to smile, Danny. Wasabi is trusted by tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of customers worldwide, and is recognized as one of technology's fastest growing and most visionary companies. All right, there's the plug. We're done with that part. Let me introduce my friends today. I don't think I can do this like in any kind of orientation because who knows how it's all coming across. We have Rob Callaghan joining us. He's the gentleman with the nerd hat on. And, hey, look, nobody told him to wear it. He picked that himself.
Rob, I can dress myself these days. It's an improvement.
Is that an upgrade?
Yes.
You're still sitting back in Portage class, though.
Yeah, of course. I'm not goldiness like you.
That's it. Hey, there's not room for everybody up in premier seating. Rob, like myself, we've worked together in the past. He's been around data protection storage industry for quite a long time, so he has a tremendous depth of experience and perspective. Danny Collins, our senior product marketing manager, specializing in Wasabi for video surveillance. We're going to get into that. And then our new kid on the block, Shannon. There, say hello, Shannon. Big smile. Shannon I love it. Shannon just got back from an exciting trip in Las Vegas. Well, we all did, except for Rob. Somebody had to hold down the fort.
Somebody had to do the work.
Somebody had to do the work. All right, fair enough.
And Shannon's cat.
Oh, yeah, that's Pete. How to bite Pete.
All right, this is awesome. I'm getting text messages from people that are tuned in on the show. Yeah, thanks, Vinny. I was definitely going for that Don Imus kind of vibe, so appreciate you picking up on that.
We need a call-in feature if this gets picked
up. My goodness. Oh, I don't know. I don't know if I can handle that.
We can have somebody that have a contest. Choose.
Oh, it clips. I'm sorry, Rob.
But let me finish introducing Shannon. Shannon is our new kid on the block here at Wasabi, and was just in Vegas for the National Association of Broadcasters show. and apparently stepped into the fray quite nicely. And we're going to talk to Shannon about her experience at NAB. Before we get into our kind of entree, a couple of quick little tidbits, because I know we're all market watchers, right? A lot of announcements recently, of course, with the two big shows. We had an announcement of our own, couple of announcements of our own, right? We announced an interoperability with network optics, right, Danny?
Yes, we did.
What do we announce there? What do you think the implications are for that announcement?
Yeah, so at that show, it was pretty cool to see this year. I mean, we've been kind of preaching the cloud message for a while now at that show, but at the security industry was slower behind the IT side of the house when it comes to adopting cloud. But this year, I mean, cloud was the topic of conversation there. It was in complete full swing. I think there's still a lot of education around it, both on the consumer side and on the manufacturer vendor side, as far as these security companies building in cloud into their platforms. Traditionally, video management systems were all on site storage. And now I think you're going to start seeing a lot of these guys build that capability into their own. So that being said, Network Optics is kind of the first partner that we're working with that we have a direct integration with now, with their VMS platform, NX Witness. So now you can actually record directly into the cloud, which is a really cool capability. It's one of the first major players out there doing this, and I think you're going to start seeing it kind of snowball effect of this capability throughout this year and then the next couple of years.
Absolutely, yeah. We'll get into ISC a lot more in just a moment. And then Shannon, I think we had another small minor announcement right before NAB.
Yes, we launched AiR. So if you guys
I'm joking. It was a huge announcement.
just a small, tiny announcement.
Rob, don't forget to smile.
The AiR is definitely pretty big. It's almost as important as breathing. So what AiR does is when you're putting your data into the cloud, it auto indexes and tags your video footage and creates a Google-like search engine for you to find what you're looking for. So it was pretty cool to demonstrate and show people and just see how important it was at NAB, because I think this gives opportunity for all of the small and mid-market businesses that consume video to compete with the big boys.
Absolutely. Yeah. Huge announcement and pulled together in short order. I think we did what we completed and announced the acquisition of Curio maybe 2 months ago.
It was end of January or early February when we did it.
Right. So congrats to the team on a fantastic effort pulling that together. And, congrats to the surveillance team on getting that announcement pulled together. The other thing, I think we'll do this in threes, right? Because that's the rule. The other industry announcement I saw was that our friends up in Seattle have deprecated their offering of the semi truck that will pull up and vacuum all the data out of your data center.
Snowmobile. Was
that Rob?
The snowmobile.
The snowmobile. That thing looks a little bigger than a snowmobile. It looks like
they call it. They call it the Amazon snowmobile.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. So yeah, if you were hoping to lift and shift a couple of petabytes with a semi trailer parked outside your data center for a week, sorry to tell you that it ain't going to happen anymore, right? The product's been deprecated. I mean, we have something that'll help you, right? We have a lot of things that'll help you, but we'll get to that another time. We don't want to shield.
It's curious though that they'll be very happy in the past to bring that down, but when someone realizes that Wasabi is a better alternative, they won't do it the other way and bring it to us for some reason. I don't get that, but whatever.
Well, I mean, go back a few more weeks, right? Everybody announced that they were, quote unquote, getting rid of their egress fees so that they could stay out of trouble with the EU regulators. And now they're offering, the opportunity to apply for credits if you want to evacuate your data. So please, sorry, Shannon?
Devil in the details.
Devil's in the details. Yeah. It's not a free ride, right? You still have to pay egress fees with the hyperscalers. There's no way around that. Day-to-day operations, they're still gonna tap you for that. But if you're done, if you want to quit, you apply for the credits, hope that they approve it, and they'll send you on your merry way and let you take your data out without keeping it hostage. But look, we all know, just give us a call. We'll help you. We have a multitude of ways to bring it out. All right, let's get into the meat of the menu today. Danny, you're up. We're going to talk about first. We're going to talk about ISC West. So tell us, what did you see? What did you hear? What were your thoughts and impressions?
Yeah, like I said, cloud was the talk of the show. Multiple announcements from different vendors, cloud related. Let's see, we got, I mean, all the conversations we were having at the booth, it was primarily security integrators looking for a cloud solution to offer their customers, right? So you're kind of getting that push pull with end users looking for a cloud solution. They're going to their integrator, who's kind of that expert, build me out a surveillance system capability, and I want to include cloud in that. We're seeing a lot of the use cases where I want to keep X amount of data or video locally, and I want to keep X amount in the cloud. Some different cyber resilience, Rob, type of use cases where, not only is cloud kind of far behind the IT industry when it comes to this type of transition, but also cybersecurity is a little bit farther behind the IT space. It's coming forward with the convergence of IT and security departments. But yeah, we're starting to see folks like now realize, well, if all of my video and data is in one location, what happens if something happens to that entire location, right? And it's not just, well, my servers are redundant, I have redundant drives. It's like, okay, but what happens if it's like, if it's everything, some kind of disaster recovery scenario? So we're talking strategies behind that.
Yeah. So let's pick on that for a moment here. Right. And I happen to be, standing right next to you all week long. So I got to see and hear a lot of the same things. Not only are we seeing, I would say, a step function increase in the interest and the implementation of cloud between last year and this year. Right? It was night and day difference. Right. Folks are coming to the booth. They're saying, I have a mandate to integrate cloud into my surveillance architecture. Right. I think you and I both looked at each other like, hallelujah, we're there. We're there. We did it. We got through the initial resistance, persevered, and now we're in like the perfect position to help these folks. Right. But, we're still hearing from a lot of folks, and I talked to a whole slew of different customers. I know you did too. Banks in particular, right? They have to have redundancy in these systems, right? Tell me about the most interesting conversation you had at the show.
Depends. Do you want to hear? I can go in multiple different directions with this. As far
we got
as
time, go for it.
I'd say that the most interesting use case was one integrator that I talked to had a customer that with like high-end vending machines, and they had cameras and like a retention policy that was pretty crazy. It was a year of retention or something like that. So that's probably the most out there use case that I saw. I think the most interesting like conversation and then overall takeaway is with cloud. and just traditional security and business model in general. You have integrators that are more of, they go in, they build out a system, they install it, and then they move on to the next project.
Right.
It's kind of how the industry has worked. Now with cloud coming into the equation, a lot of these organizations are not set up to sell and fulfill in a cloud model. So you're seeing the traditional security integrator turn into what I like to call a security service provider, right? So not only are they looking for cloud solutions to sell to their end customers, but they're looking for a way to do it in general. Luckily, shameless plug, we have the capability to do that. But so, it was a perfect conversation that we were having. But I think a lot of these integrators, they're dealing with so many different things, right? They're dealing with labor shortages, supply chain issues, all of this different technology that's coming out. So now they got to stay up to date and trained on this. Now there's new technology that's coming into play that they, have to transition towards and be trained on. And then they need to have the platform to sell it too. And just when cloud was starting to take like a main stage, right, then you have AI that comes into it, right? So it's just it's a one thing after another. How can we help our partners stay up to date and have the tools to go out and sell and make money? So that was a big conversation that we were having at the show as well.
So Shannon, pay close attention, because believe it or not, we had people coming to the booth at ISC West asking about Wasabi AiR, right?
Yeah.
And already imagining, right, how they could, well, look at that.
You got a Mac. See, you did the right symbol. If you do a Mac on this, it does those things for you.
I thought I was throwing a gang sign or something.
You must have.
Must have been the gang sign for balloons. Thought I turned
AiR has
that off.
such a big amount of volume, it just creates balloons on screen.
But what I was going to say is we had a lot of folks coming to us and inquiring about the intersection of AiR and their surveillance video. And Danny can attest to this, right? There's a ton of surveillance video analytics already in place, but there's definitely room down the road for us to look at, right, how to kind of layer one solution on top of the other. So it'll be interesting to see how these things roll out.
Unfortunately, they didn't want to stay 2 full weeks in Vegas, or they would have gotten their answer if they stayed for NAB the week afterwards.
We told them stick around.
Yeah,
hang out.
I think you bring up a good point though on surveillance is having it in the cloud where it's secure. It has endless capacity compared to an on-prem solution where you can run out. Where it's cost effective, it's secure. You can use immutable storage to protect it for a period of time. There was an article that I was going to bring up just in the paper recently about how cyber criminals are now going after SaaS apps in the cloud more than their on-prem stuff.
Yeah.
So the fact that UE can protect it in the cloud from that is huge. And when you add in AiR in the future, things like that technology, the availability in the cloud to be able to easily integrate that becomes a game changer.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, we saw all kinds of examples of camera-based recognition and analytics, as well as being able to take multiple sources and do recognition. All right, so tell you what, we're doing great on time, but I think it's time to shift gears. Danny, thank you so much. Appreciate that hangout. There's plenty to learn. Shannon, let's talk about NAB. I mean, have you ever been to a bigger show in your life?
The closest would be Gartner Symposium, but it did not beat the volume of traffic that we had at our booth. It was nonstop, people coming by and seeing what AiR was and seeing what was new with Wasabi. Right. We definitely need more Wasabians next year.
Did you get to walk the floor? Did you get to see any of the other halls and any of the other exhibits?
I did for part of the day. They had a women's lunch for SVG. So I got to sit with a lot of women in tech and media and entertainment to see how AI was going to work and repurpose existing data, which ironically is something that AiR is all about. So
Yeah. I think if I get to go to the show next year, I'm going to bring one of those I'm going to rent one of those motorized scooters.
you need it because they had Teslas to get you from one area to the next. So the Las Vegas Convention Center, you have Southall. Yes. I got to go in a tunnel on a Tesla, and I felt like I was in Mario Kart because it was multicolor layered. It was
Holy cow. Wow. All
now
right.
Drew's jealous.
I have a Tesla. I love my Tesla, but
Drew took me to In-N-Out Burger. That's what I got when I was in Vegas. Great though.
But Drew got a hat, so Drew's up the game.
You gotta rub that in a little, Danny, because Rob is a super fan, and we sent him the picture from just outside In-N-Out Burger, and he was a little bumming that he wasn't there. He's having a little FOMO.
I've never had an In-N-Out Burger, but I heard that you should. They don't have them in Boston.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, they don't have them, unfortunately. That's why I look forward to going out there.
All right, Shannon.
I tell you, they're building one that I can walk to.
Yeah. Rob, you're gonna be like 30 pounds heavier before triple bypass, man. You gotta. Shannon, we'll make sure.
Triple bypass is a bike ride. It's not a procedure. Just let you know.
If you do it right. But Shannon, we'll get you to In-N-Out Burger. It's kind of one of those bucket list items. But all right, so you spent a lot of quality time in the booth. In fact, I believe at one point the response, the number of people coming into the booth was so incredible as compared to like maybe the folks next door, who I won't mention their name, but we know who they are, and. So you got drafted to be the demo goddess, and talk to me about that. What were you showing people? What kind of response were you getting?
It was pretty interesting. So we had a presentation just to go over what we are, what we do, and what AiR brings to the market. But after the end of every presentation, we had two demo station booths that were just overcrowded with about 15, 20 people per booth. So it was hard to really maximize that. So what we did was that we showed a 4-minute demo after every presentation and in between presentations. So I just show the platform. I teased our CMO a little bit by plugging his name and and showing the difference between custom tags and tags that AiR does. I was able to show.
What were his tags? What were his tags again?
Don't go there, Rob. Don't go there. This is not the time or the place.
We want to have an episode 2. I showed them how you can search through people and logos. I showed them that AiR can spot graphics even the human eye can't see. So that was interesting. I was able to splice up some of the footage to show how you can export a tiny clip and send it to your editors. I showed them that AiR can identify duplicates, and that was something that I discovered often when we're building a product. We think about the overall solution, what it could bring, but we never realize these features that could be really big problem solves to the industry. I found out from a couple of house of worship businesses themselves that they have a duplication error problem, because in order to work with MAM environments, they have to work with different MAMs, which creates multiple buckets of data. And so they have a lack of visibility in their duplicates, which means that they're paying for storage that they might not actually need. Right. So just that duplication aspect was a pretty big one. I showed that AiR can find explosions, and if you're looking for objects, gun, so you can see a man running from an explosion holding a gun. It can pull specific lines of text, so I was able to pull speeches from movies and show that as well. So it was pretty interesting.
Yeah, this is certainly, one of the best applications, practical applications, I think, of AI ML. I mean, the Gen stuff is really cool. Rob, I know you love playing with the Gen stuff, but there are millions and millions of hours of video out there that is unusable because nobody knows what's in it, right? And this solves a massive problem for folks who have and want to unlock the value of their video assets, right? As we're saying in our tagline, right? We're going to breathe new life into their assets. In fact, I believe that same CMO, shout out Mike Weltz, told us this morning that a big customer of ours spent 4 days walking the floor, looking at a whole bunch of different technologies and solutions with a certain end in mind. And when they came to our booth, of course, to say hello and touch base, they said, wow, we've walked the floor for 4 days. We're here now. We're checking out what you guys have. And we've wasted 4 days because you have everything we need. Like, what an incredible endorsement for what we can do for massive M&E customers. So, Shannon, any parting thoughts, any massive impression you want to share with us that you got from being at the show?
Well, as a new kid on the block, what was pretty interesting was the real value prop of just Wasabi itself. I noticed that there was two types of audiences. You had people that were afraid to migrate to the cloud because they had petabytes worth of data in LTO. I'm talking about one customer told me they generated 600 terabytes per season, but they were afraid to move to the cloud because of just the egress fees that they would incur just for accessing the data. So you had that, and then you had the other area where is once we have it in the cloud, how are we going to use it? Because 80% of data is unstructured and 90% of that is unusable. So it was really cool to see us solve real problems and be a part of something that people see that this can bring value to their day-to-day.
Imagine that, solving real problems. Who would have thought? It's so much better than lots of promise and very little delivery. I think folks are going to be blown away when they actually get hands-on with this stuff and realize, again, the value unlocking tremendous value, as well as unbelievable cost avoidance, right? I'm pretty sure we'll have Andrew Smith on here in short order to talk about the fee problem that our industry has. Not Wasabi, everybody else, right? And Danny, I think we see that in the surveillance space, right? They don't even realize that they could retain for longer, right? And same goes for Rob. Rob is our cyber resilience expert, our backup and recovery expert, right? We talk all the time about, folks need to hold on to their data longer because, those bad actors are getting in doing things before you ever realize it. And the need to roll back sometimes can be months, maybe years, Rob?
Yeah. And I mean, on average, it's 21 days, but that's increasing. And being able to both have the ability to cost effectively store more data for longer and not have to pay a fee or a penalty, or as I like to say, a ransom to pull copies back till you can find a known good copy is huge.
Yep. All right. Well, hey, unless anybody has anything else, I think I'm going to take us out. Thank you, friends. Thank you, Shannon, Dan, and Rob, for hanging in today.
Thank you.
Have a fantastic weekend. It's the best Friday of the week. And for all three of you who tuned in today, please tell your friends, tell the neighbors. And if you'd like to learn more, check us out at wasabi.com. We'd be happy to help you with anything that you need in the cloud storage. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.